Hey guys, so today I want to introduce a new guitar that I got. So this is the Gretsch G5655T-QM Electromatic Center Block Junior Single Cut. So this is, wow, that's a mouthful. Okay, yeah. So this is a recent guitar that they introduced from the Electromatic series, which is Gretsch's lower cost series. This is their more affordable models. They're all crafted in China. That's why they're more affordable. But I think these are still generally considered very good quality guitars still. And I really love the finish on this one. So they have a bunch of different colors, a selection of different quilted maple tops, and this is my favorite. This color is called Hudson Sky. So if you look at it, it is quilted maple top, but this one is done in this nice blue color, and with gold accents all around the hardware and everything, which I like. I mean, it's not all entirely gold, which is, I don't know, that's a little bit of a weird thing. Like, why didn't they just make everything gold? But anyways, they kind of mixed and matched, I guess, gold and silver on the different electronics and stuff like that. But it's still really good looking, right? So, yeah, this thing cost $1,000 brand new, US. That's the MSRP. I actually got this for $800 in like new condition from Reverb, so saved a bit of money there. What I can say about this guitar is that it's very light. So I'm holding it right now, and it doesn't take me much effort to hold it. It's like 6 point something pounds. It's very light for an electric guitar, and it's definitely lighter than it looks. Like, I think that's why this is Electromatic Center Block Junior, because the non-junior models are definitely bigger and a little heavier. But I prefer my guitars lighter, easy to hold. I can even hold it with one hand pretty easily like this. So yeah, it's not that heavy. It's probably the lightest guitar that I own. It's like a semi-hollow, as you can see with the F-holes. Yeah, it's definitely like been chambered well. So not a lot of, a lot of weight relief, on this guitar. So it's definitely fairly light. Like I said, it's lighter than my Strat, lighter than my Tele. Yeah, it's definitely like 6 point something pounds, not even 7 pounds, I don't think. I can like easily hold it with one hand like this. All right, so why is it called the Electromatic Center Block Junior Single Cut? I'll go over what each of those words mean. So Electromatic means that this is Gretsch's lower end line or more affordable range of guitars. These are all crafted or made in China. They're higher end guitars, and yeah, their more premium line of guitars are made in Japan. So that's why the Electromatic range is generally more affordable. Why is it called the Center Block Junior? Well, their center block line of guitars usually have like a one against center block, right, of spruce running down the middle of the guitar to increase sustain. And that's what this one has. And that's because these line of guitars are semi-hollow, so they're actually chambered. It's part of the reason why it's so light. Like I said, this is probably the lightest guitar in my collection. It's like 6.7 pounds, I swear. It's like, a Strat is like 7 point something pounds. Teles are usually around that range as well. This is definitely lighter than a typical Strat or Tele. And yeah, it's like chambered on both sides here. So definitely it's quite light, but it still has sustain because of that center spruce block running down the middle. And it's the junior version because this is usually smaller than their other Electromatic models. So the Electromatic models tend to be a little bit bigger. So Gretsch is known for having these bigger arc bodies, like the Gretsch White Falcon, for example. Or the Nashville, like they're known for just like bigger guitars. I didn't want to have like a really big guitar, so this junior one was perfect for me because this is the right size. It's about same size as like a Les Paul or something like that. So you know that's fine for me. It's just much lighter than a typical Les Paul, of course, but yeah, it's about the same size as Les Paul because their other their full size guitars are quite big. If anyone has ever played a White Falcon before, you know what I'm talking about. They're quite big guitars. But yeah, so this is junior model. It's more appropriate for me for size. And why is it called a single cut? Well, this piece right here, that's a single cut. If it was like another space here, then that would be like a double cutaway. So that's just a guitar kind of term right here. Single cutaway is just it's cut only on one side. Usually on the side where your fretting hand is going to be reaching the top registers. If it's cut on both sides, then it's a double cut. So yeah, this one being a single cut, more like a Les Paul style. Les Paul's a single cut, right? Whereas a Stratocaster is a double cutaway. So yeah, yeah, does it sound as good as it looks? Let's find out. I will be impressed, especially since these are this guitar definitely looks more expensive than it actually is, right? I mean, this costs $1,000 US, so it's not cheap, but definitely it looks more like a more premium, you know, $2,000 level guitar, honestly. So especially with this nice quilted maple in this blue burst finish here, the Hudson Sky is what we call it. It's pretty nice. Okay, so a little bit about Gretsch. So Gretsch is a guitar company that was founded in the late 1800s. So they're actually one of the oldest companies that's still producing guitars today. So yeah, I think they might even predate Gibson, because yeah, they were founded in the late 1800s just like Gibson. And yeah, like they have a long history. They predate Fender, of course, although now they're kind of partly owned by Fender. They're not completely owned by Fender. They're still like directly controlled by the Gretsch family, but I guess Fender oversees their operations, and Gretsch has access to Fender's supply chains and marketing and stuff like that. So yeah, I would say overall Gretsch is a very historic company. They've been making guitars for a long time, and I've always been interested in Gretsch's designs. I always found them very beautiful looking, very classy, elegant looking. I've never really been like huge fan of Les Pauls. I don't know, just like I feel like Gretsch's guitar shape, I guess, is a little bit more comfortable for me to hold in the Les Paul, and especially like their semi-hollows like this is definitely lighter it's lighter to play and lighter to hold compared to a traditional Gibson Les Paul. Les Paul is always found to be too bulky and heavy for me. So Gretsch has always been my choice compared to a Les Paul, even though some people might say they look similar to a Les Paul. They're a little bit different. Yeah, like the shape is like slightly different. I'd say that they're a little bit lighter for these models. They also have the bigger models like the White Falcon, which are obviously heavier. But yeah, the Duo Jets I would compare to the Les Pauls, and I prefer the Duo Jets appearance and functionality, I would say. So yeah, they always had this kind of, I mean, just like many popular electric guitar designs today, right? They all stem from the 1950s. So this one's no different. You can see that a lot of the stylings here are from the 1950s. Very, yeah, like a lot of like chrome looking accents here. You can see like, that's why a lot of like popular guitar designs we see here today, they're all influenced by the 50s designs, right? So it's pretty interesting. Most people still prefer designs from the like 70 years ago. Anyways, this is not my first Gretsch. I've owned the Gretsch White Penguin before, which is even more expensive model than this. That one's actually made in Japan, and I think that one's, if you find a White Penguin now, it probably costs around $2,500 to $3,000. So it's pretty much out of my budget now. But back then, like about, was this almost 10 years ago? It was like 9 years ago I got the Gretsch White Penguin. And then because of an issue with the intonation of the way that they designed this kind of like saddle part to hold the strings in place, I didn't really like that, because I always went out of tune very easily, so I ended up selling it, and then I got the Duesenberg after that to kind of replace it. But I always kind of wanted to go back to the Gretsch design, because I've always been a fan of Gretsch, right? They also had the Gretsch White Penguin acoustic model as well. That was kind of like a small parlor model that I used to have. That's been replaced by the Lava ME2 guitar that I have now. Anyways, yeah, I've always been a fan of Gretsch, and saw this model online, and just, you know, looks so beautiful. I actually really like their made in Japan Player's Jet models as well. Those are actually, they have like a midnight sapphire finish with an all gold hardware and stuff, but that's also way too expensive for me. So anyways, ended up getting this model, the Electromatic Center Block Junior. It's more affordable for me and still looks just as nice in my opinion. So yeah, let's go over the guitar. So headstock here, Gretsch has a few different styles of logos. So this is like, there's an inlaid block logo here. It's pretty simple. And on my previous Gretsch White Penguin, it was like a bigger logo that went down vertically. But this one is just like a small logo. It's just a little bit more simple looking. And tuners are just regular tuners here, no locking tuners. This is like, maybe it's just supposed to be vintage spec. I think these look like kind of like Rover tuners, but I'm not sure exactly. Made in China, so it's crafted in China. That's why it's more affordable. Then this guitar has binding on it. As you can see, it's kind of like a cream binding all around the guitar, which gives it like a more luxury appearance. There is nothing on the back here. It's just this beautiful maple top that's been quilted, and yeah, you can see this beautiful quilted maple top is all you see here in the back. The guitar itself is made of maple, so that's actually not too common. Usually coming from Fender, right, you would see mostly ash or alder, and then coming from Gibson you might see mahogany, but this one, or basswood even, right, in some guitars, but this one is actually maple, which is interesting. And my Duesenberg is actually spruce, so this is actually the first all maple guitar I've had. Fretboard is, well, it's a maple neck with a laurel fretboard. So this is not a rosewood fretboard, but a laurel fretboard, which looks kind of similar to rosewood, right? It's kind of like a lighter version of rosewood, I guess. Rosewood is a little bit darker than this. But yeah, this is a laurel fretboard, a little bit lighter looking, and there's a 12-inch radius for the fretboard, so it's relatively flat to play. Should be easy to bend on this fretboard. So on the body here, you can see there's two Filtertron style pickups. So Filtertron is the type of humbucker that Gretsch invented to compete with Gibson's PAF, and in my opinion, they're I'd like them a little bit better. They're not as dark sounding as PAFs. They're more like chimey, jangly. So they got more high end compared to PAFs, but not as much bottom end, I guess. So they're not as high output or as fat sounding as a PAF is. They don't have as much bottom end, but they do have more like high end, more like chimey tone. So it's almost like closer to a single coil, not a single coil exactly, because this also bucks hum. So it's not, doesn't have any hum, but definitely closer to a single coil sound compared to a traditional Gibson humbucker. But these ones are actually not the traditional Filtertrons. The ones they put in this particular model are called Broadtron pickups, which I think are higher output compared to their traditional vintage Filtertron spec. So yeah, I might change these out later, I'm not sure yet. I kind of prefer the vintage Filtertron type of sound, but these are like higher output Filtertrons essentially. They call it the blacktop Broadtron pickups. And then yeah, like I said, it's a mix of this part is like gold, I guess, hardware, and then the rest of it's still like chrome. So it's like a mix of both. I'm not sure why Gretsch did it that way. Why not just keep it all the same? So the pickup switch selector is up here. Up position is the neck only. Middle position is both pickups on, and bottom position is bridge only. So it's pretty simple to use. We have a master volume control that controls the overall volume of both pickups. And then we have individual volume controls for the neck and the bridge, which is pretty cool, and a master tone control, which controls the tone of both pickups. So yeah, a little bit different compared to, you know, your standard Fender, because you do have individual volume controls for both, not just one master volume. Then you have a Bigsby bridge right here. So Bigsby bridge is a tremolo bridge, or vibrato bridge, right, technically. So yeah, its functions like similar but a little bit different than your Stratocaster tremolo bridge, which is something I'm more used to, I guess. This one, I would say you cannot do like dive bombs like you can on a Strat. So a Strat tremolo bridge, you can really like kind of do dive bombs on it. This one, you can't really hit it that hard. It's just for like more lighter type of vibrato sound, like a very more subtle type of sound. So I would not recommend doing like Eddie Van Halen type of stuff on this, yeah, on this Bigsby bridge. But it's fine for what it is. Definitely, it's usable, right? A lot of guitars use Bigsby and use Bigsby designs because it's still very usable vibrato type of bridge right here. So, yeah, and then you got a tailpiece, which is also Bigsby. And that's pretty much it. Like I said, very beautiful looking guitar, and I like the fact that it's so light. So, I'm going to try playing it. And actually I have my Swart Atomic Junior tube amp right here. This is a 5-watt all-tube Class A amp. I'll be playing through this, and this one actually has built-in reverb as well. So that's nice, so I don't have to bring a reverb pedal out here. So yeah, let you guys hear the sound of the guitar. Alright, so now I have the guitar plugged into the amp. The output jack is here, by the way, which is pretty normal for an electric guitar. And I'm just going to be playing some chords, you know, jamming around, maybe some riffs and stuff. So right now, I have all the tone and volume controls set to max, and the pickup switch is in the middle position, which indicates both pickups are turned on. So yeah, as you can hear, Gretsch pickups in general, they have a higher end, more of an airy tone compared to Gibson PAF humbuckers, which are more darker sounding. So Gibson humbuckers definitely have more mid-range, whereas I would say Gretsch Filtertron type pickups, they have a higher dynamic range because they have like more highs, and yeah, generally I feel like if you like the sound of a single coil but you want a humbucker, you know, this is obviously higher output than a single coil, but definitely sounds closer to a single coil than a Gibson humbucker, I would say. So my amp, the tone is set to 7, volume set to 7, and reverb set to 5 here. This amp has a pretty nice reverb. If we dial back the master volume, you cannot hear anything at all. So the master volume really controls everything, because hence the name master volume, right? I'll dial down one of the volume controls. I'll dial down both. You don't hear anything, of course, when I dial down both. Makes sense? Yeah, so these two control the neck and bridge. So yeah, this one is the tone control. So let me turn them back on. If I dial back down the tone. Now I usually don't know why people would dial back down the tone control on an electric guitar. Like, electric guitarists let me know, because like I don't even know why do we even have a tone control on every guitar, because like I always put it to max. I don't know why people would even dial it down. It just sounds pretty horrible. But yeah, I don't know, like just dialing back the tone control doesn't sound right. I just always turn it up to max, because I don't know why would you want to have less tone. Yeah, I don't know. I just always leave the tone control to max on my guitars anyways. But yeah, I'm gonna dial back down the neck, then all you hear is the bridge. It should be the same thing as just switching to the bridge pickup. Yeah, so just switch to the bridge pickup is the exact same thing as just turning down the neck pickup volume and having both pickups on, obviously. So this is the bridge pickup. I'm just going to leave both pickups volume on full. And as a treble bleed circuit, which means that as I roll down the volume, it's going to keep the high end. Whereas compared to most, I guess, volume pots, when you roll down the volume, the high end gets a little bit lost. So yeah, then I switch to neck only. So yeah, again, this neck pickup. Bridge pickup. Both pickups on. So yeah, the tone of these pickups is nice. I would still prefer the vintage Filtertron type of sound, so maybe I might get a pair of TV Jones guitar pickups or whatever to replace these because they specialize in Filtertron pickups. But these Broadtron pickups I think are as good for a modern type of sound, right? It's still very jangly, so it still keeps the typical Gretsch type of tone, that great Gretsch sound, right? Got to keep that that tone that they're famous for, which is that bright, jangly type of top end. So it still has that chime in that top end, it's just higher output compared to a vintage Filtertron type sound. So I think it's good for, like, you know, modern guitars, but I would still prefer a vintage Filtertron type of tone. But it's still nice, it's still fun sounding. I'm actually going to turn on the Wampler Tumnus Klon Centaur type of overdrive tone to show you guys the overdriven type of sound now. So it's like this. Using a Wampler Tumnus, which is an overdrive pedal. It's called the Klon Centaur type of overdrive. Pretty famous among guitar circles. See, this is what I'm talking about. These pickups are definitely higher output than traditional Filtertrons because when I put an overdrive on it, it immediately, like, I can get a high gain sound out of it, which means that these are already pretty high output. They can overdrive into, like, distortion easily. So yeah, they can already push my guitar amp, which, by the way, it is an 8-inch guitar speaker, so it does overdrive pretty easily, but still, like, this is all I had to do is add an overdrive pedal, and it's already high gain. It's already overdriving the amp. That's to be expected. Usually the bridge pickups in modern guitars always have more output. It's just to compensate for the string vibration becoming, the energy becoming less at the bridge point. That's why they compensate by turning up the coils and windings on the bridge pickups. But this, yeah. I think the bridge pickup on a lot of Gretsch guitars might be too much for some people because the high end is just so piercing. Already the high end on Gretsch guitars is, you know, very prominent, but then you have the bridge pickup, which already has a ton of high end. Then yeah, the trebles can be quite piercing for some people. Maybe it can be a bit harsh. easy to get to feedback because it's a semi-hollow, so you know, I don't have to try very hard to get to feedback. This is actually not even a high gain overdrive pedal. It's like a medium gain overdrive pedal too. Very easy to get it to feedback. All right, yeah, that's the overdriven tone essentially. Basically, anytime I play something, I can get it to feedback. It's so easy. Yeah, it's just semi-hollow. Well, actually, this might be. I think this might be even a full hollow, maybe. Yeah, it just feels even lighter than my other semi-hollows. So it might even be a full hollow. Maybe that's why I feedback so easily. And maybe that's why it's so light. Might be a full hollow, maybe. Yeah, maybe it's not a semi-hollow. Maybe it's a full hollow body. That's why I feedback so easily. Why it's so light. Well, guys, I warn you, when you're playing with high gain with this guitar, it feedbacks really easily. So just be aware of that. Bit of warning if you're playing with overdrive or distortion or fuzz. Basically, any kind of high gain is going to make this guitar feedback very easily. It seems like it's just a full hollow. So yeah, very easy to get to feedback. Okay, what if I just reduce the gain and just set it as a clean boost? You can do that with a Klon type pedal. Okay, yeah, I guess it's just when the volume's higher. Man, that's sustain. Okay. Anyways, yeah, you can get sustain and feedback really easily on this guitar because it's pretty much a hollow body. So, yeah, that's the Gretsch Electromatic Center Block Junior in Hudson Sky Blue. Very beautiful looking guitar, right? The quilted maple, yeah, with the gold touches. It's a really beautiful guitar. And what I like about it, it's so light because it's like hollow. And yeah, you get that nice jangly Filtertron sound with the pickups, although I personally still prefer the vintage type of Filtertrons. These ones have a bit too high output for me. But overall, really nice guitar, right? The Bigsby. It works up and down, right? Yeah, Bigsby works well. So anyways, I think it's a really nice guitar to pick up, and it's not that expensive either. This is their cheaper model, so you can get it for $1,000 brand new, or just you can find it a bit cheaper like me for like 800, under 1,000. So for under $1,000, it's a very nice electric guitar. Definitely looks more expensive than it actually is. So anyways, so guys, let me know if you have any questions about the Gretsch. I have to look up the model again because I keep forgetting. Yeah, the G5655T Electromatic Center Block Junior Single Cut with Bigsby is the full name of this guitar. That's a mouthful. So anyways, I think it's a pretty nice guitar. Definitely under $1,000. This is one of the most beautiful looking guitars I've seen under $1,000. So guys, again, leave me any comments what you think about this guitar. And as always, thanks for watching.